You probably think your brain is operating at 100% right now. It's not. You think scrolling this morning was harmless. You think missing 1 hour of sleep doesn't affect you because you still feel fine. But that may be the scariest part. Your brain can adapt to impairments so well that it starts to feel normal. Right now, at this exact moment, your brain is changing. Not because of what you're studying, but because the habits you repeat every single day are actively rewiring your neural architecture. The question is not whether your brain is changing. It already is. The question is, which direction? Every day, 2 forces compete for the shape of your mind. Distraction, poor sleep, and constant stimulation train your brain toward fatigue. Focus, learning, movement, and emotional control train it towards strength. Neuroscientists call this neuroplasticity, the brain's capacity to rewire itself based on repeated behavior. What you use strengthens, what you avoid weakens, and it happens whether you intend it or not. 7 habits. They're happening right now, in your life, in your daily routine. The only question is whether you're running them deliberately or whether they're running you. Let's go through all 7, and by the end, you'll know exactly which habits are building your brain and which ones are quietly dismantling it. Your brain operates on one principle. What you repeat, you reinforce. Every behavior you run daily strengthens its corresponding neural pathway, making that behavior easier, faster, and more automatic over time. This works in both directions. The habits that feel harmless, mindless scrolling, fragmented sleep, reactive emotion, are reinforcing pathways toward cognitive weakness. The deliberate habits we're about to cover reinforce pathways toward strength. 7 habits. Some you're already running, some you're missing. All of them matter. Habit 1. Train focus like a muscle. Every time you switch between tasks, phone, email, work, notification, you tax your prefrontal cortex. Cognitive scientists call this attention residue. A part of your attention stays on the previous task every time you switch. The more you switch, the more fragmented your thinking becomes, the less you can sustain deep, valuable work. The practice, 20 minutes of uninterrupted single-task work. One thing. No phone, no switching. The goal is to rebuild the attention span that constant distraction has been weakening. Start with 20, extend to 25, then 30. The goal is not duration, it is depth. Research finds that individuals who sustain deep, uninterrupted attention produce the most original and valuable work. Not because they are smarter, because they have trained the capacity that most people have allowed to atrophy. Habit 2. Prioritize sleep. Sleep is not rest. Sleep is maintenance. During sleep, the brain consolidates memories, clears metabolic waste through the glymphatic system, regulates emotional processing, and restores the prefrontal cortex. 1 night of poor sleep measurably impairs cognitive performance, emotional regulation, and impulse control. Multiple nights compound the deficit. Here is what most people miss. It doesn't feel as bad as it is. You adapt to the impairment. Sleep is not what you do after you've finished being productive. Sleep is the foundation that makes everything else in this video possible. Habit 3. Read challenging material. Short, entertaining content is processed by your brain without friction. It produces a dopamine response without requiring real cognitive work, comprehension, abstraction, or critical integration. Reading complex text strengthens comprehension, working memory, critical thinking, and the capacity for sustained abstract thought. The rule: 10 pages every day of something that challenges you slightly. After reading, pause. Ask, what is the single most important idea here? Reflection turns reading into learning. Learning done consistently is one of the most reliable methods for maintaining cognitive sharpness. Habit 4. Exercise for brain power. Exercise is not primarily for your body. It is the most powerful neurological intervention available without a prescription. Movement increases BDNF, brain-derived neurotropic factor, what neuroscientists call miracle grow for the brain. Regular movement measurably improves focus, memory, mood, stress regulation, and cognitive performance. And the dose is lower than most people assume: 20 to 30 minutes of moderate movement per day. Walking, running, cycling, resistance training, yoga, swimming. The modality matters less than the consistency. You don't need an elite program. You need daily movement. Habit 5. Reduce dopamine overload. Every notification, scroll, and short video produces a small dopamine spike. Over time, with enough frequency, your baseline dopamine level adjusts upward. Activities requiring patience or sustained effort begin to feel increasingly boring. This is not a willpower problem, it is a calibration problem. And the solution is not a dopamine detox, a term that is scientifically imprecise. What matters is reducing high stimulation inputs and redesigning your environment. Walk without your phone. Eat without a screen. Work with tabs you don't need. Allow quiet moments to exist without immediately filling them. These are not punishments, they are recalibrations. As you reduce rapid dopamine spikes, sensitivity to normal reward increases. Sustained work starts to feel more engaging. Reading starts to feel more rewarding. The quiet becomes tolerable, then useful. Habit 6. Build emotional control. A sharp brain is not just cognitively capable, it is emotionally stable. Emotional reactivity, responding immediately with whatever feeling arrives first, is not a character trait, it is a skill deficit that can be trained. The practice: pause before reacting. Not because pausing changes the situation, because the pause creates the space between stimulus and response, and in that space, you have a choice. Your physical state determines your emotional baseline. When sleep-deprived, sedentary, and overstimulated, your regulation capacity drops significantly. When you sleep well, move, and manage stimulation, stability improves without effort. The habits in this video are not isolated, they build on each other. Emotional control is what makes all of them sustainable. Habit 7. Consistency over motivation. Motivation is an event. It comes and goes, generated by excitement, novelty, external triggers. It cannot be the engine of lasting change. Consistency is a practice. It is showing up regardless of how it feels today. 10 pages every day beats 500 pages once a month. 20 minutes of focus every morning beats 3 hours on a Saturday. 20 minutes of exercise daily beats 2 hours in the gym twice a year. The brain rewires through repetition. The pathway gets stronger each time you run it. The identity shifts gradually, not through motivation, but through accumulated evidence that you are a person who does this. Start small enough that consistency is genuinely achievable. Do not start with the version requiring maximum motivation. Start with the version you can sustain on the hardest day of the month. And let the repetition do what repetition always does: make the extraordinary ordinary. 7 habits, all of them available to you today. None requiring exceptional willpower, exceptional resources, or exceptional intelligence. What they require is something simpler and harder than any of those: the decision to begin. Your brain is being reshaped right now by what you read, how you sleep, what you attend to, how you move, what you allow to stimulate it, with or without your intention. The reshaping is happening with or without your intention. The only question is whether you're directing it. Which of the 7 habits is the one you most need to build right now? Drop the number in the comments. I read every single one. And if someone in your life is running the habits on the wrong side of this list, share this with them. Not as criticism, as information, as a tool. Subscribe to Psychify for more psychology that gives you the tools to work with your brain instead of against it. Every week, we go deeper. Your mind deserves to understand itself.